Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Masters of the Universe Season 1, Part 2, Episode 1 and 2. But technically, if you think about it, it's Episode 6 and 7. So, I didn't even know this dropped today. Not until I was on YouTube, and I was on Looper, and they're talking about the ending explain. I'm like, ending explain? I know this is supposed to come out sometime later on this month, but I didn't know it was supposed to come out today. Everything is dropping this week, and I do mean everything. Like Hannah on Amazon Prime came out, and Maniacs on Hulu. Like you name it, everything is just dropping this week. Something. Oh, Hawkeye came out today on Disney Plus. I'm just man, this is like too much stuff to watch. So, I have no idea when Part 2 was made. I don't know if it was made back when Part 1 was made. If it was made when Part 1 was made, then like, okay, yeah. Kevin, I still don't appreciate what he did with this whole trickery thing of, oh, killing off these characters and then having them come back alive and stuff like that. And then him bragging about how he killed He-Man like twice and everything, you know? And it's just like he's acting like a punk. But I get it. He's upset because people are like attacking him online. But you know, it's like seriously, he took a property that many people love, and he played around and pissed around on it just for like shock value. I get it, he was trying to tell a story, but he did it for shock value. And when you can't really trust what he says, because he said the only reason why he made this is because he loved the original, but then that video leaked of him years ago saying he never liked the original series. So he was just being a butt. And like I said before, I mean, Jennifer Garner, back when she was married to Ben Affleck, she had to make him stop hanging out with Kevin Smith because Kevin Smith is a giant man child. And so, like, I can appreciate shock value, right? Like when Glenn had that shock value in season 6, when Negan killed the people off screen for that cliffhanger, I can appreciate a good shock value because it builds tension and suspense and for what's going to happen later on, right? Only problem with this is, like, they didn't just kill one person, they kept killing, like, multiple people like. And then they made Teela the main focus. And nobody wanted Teela to be the main focus. When you watch anything that has to do with Masters of the Universe or anything with He-Man, not She-Ra, but He-Man, He-Man has to be the main focus first and center. And then everybody else follows. People watch Masters of the Universe because they want to see He-Man. They don't want to see other people. They don't want to see Teela be the main focus, Man at Arms, Oracle, nobody. They just want to see He-Man. That's why people tune in. And so I can get, you know, the fact that he wanted to like if he would have done shock value but then let everybody know at the end of the 5th episode everything was kind of be all right, like you could see Adam move or twitch a little bit like that, then fine, you know what I'm saying? But now all these deaths doesn't have no meaning. Skeletor is alive. I only watched the first 2 episodes, but by the trailer, Oracle is somehow still alive. And then I watched the first 2 episodes, and yes, He-Man Adam is still alive. So it's like, what was the point in killing these people off? And now, because now their deaths don't have no meaning. They just got resurrected. The only people who really died so far is like Moss Man in the first season, and I think that was like it, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it was planned out just poorly in my opinion. Now, if part 2 was made just recently after part 1, then him and Netflix got the memo and Netflix got on to him. Because when you saw the second part of the trailer come out, part 2, they spilt everything in that trailer. Because they had to make it up to the fans. They know nobody was going to watch anymore. Now, who's going to really watch it if He-Man is gone and nobody likes Teela and stuff? So they revealed everything in the trailer. So that's how I knew Oracle was alive, He-Man's alive, and this and that. Because they realized they screwed up. While he's over there online talking about how I killed He-Man twice and everything. And it's just like, dude, grow up. You know what I'm saying? But these 2 episodes, it's still not great. But so far, it's better than the entire first part of, like, the series, you know? It doesn't focus on Teela that much. I mean, she's still in there, but she has more of like a supporting role and like a helper type thing. because they really just screwed her up in the first part to where she was so unlikable. And because people wasn't really feeling her, like how are they supposed to feel a character that's just so angry at everything and everybody? Now I will still say I don't like some of the character designs. Everybody is just too big and muscular. Everybody has muscles. Even people who shouldn't even have muscles, like Oracle has muscles from the first part. And like Evil Lynn has muscles, and Tila has really huge muscles, and it's like everybody has muscles. Even the sorcerer has muscles. Anyway, so yeah, it starts off with the sorcerer. It's a flashback. Tila's just been born, and we see her like doing some kind of like ritual thing so that she can take over as the next sorcerer. And we see Duncan at Arms, who's the lover of the sorcerer. Now, it's always been implied, no, it's always been told that the Man of Arms is Tila's stepfather in every incarnation. This one is starting to make it seem like he might actually be the real father. Maybe. I would like that. That'd be kind of cool. And so it goes back to like, you know, Skeletor. He is now the master of the universe. He has imprisoned the other masters. And Adam is just bleeding profusely. Skeletor says a bunch of stuff. But by the way, I love myself some Mark Hamill. He's an amazing voice actor. It's just weird hearing the Joker's voice as Skeletor. Skeletor has a very distinct voice in both the 80s cartoon and the 2002 one. And it's just weird hearing the Joker's voice. So he's talking about like how, like, you know, what is he talking about? He's talking about something. About how he's gonna unlock all the secrets of like the universe and how he has to get rid of like the sorcerer. So she puts up one last fight, but she's still extremely weak from like part one of the series. So she is putting up a good fight, but it's like it's pointless because she's literally just like can't really hold it together. Now, during this time, Adam is giving like a rousing, brave speech. And so every time Skeletor keeps like mouthing off to him, he's like constantly giving a speech and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe, just maybe, this was made after part one. Because like, okay, the thing about animation, sometimes in certain shows, their animation studio, it takes a whole year just to do things, especially now with COVID. However, I remember with South Park. South Park was very unique. They could pump out an episode within a week because that's how they do things. And they've always made their schedule, except for one time, something held them back. I forgot what it was. But yeah, it's like, whatchamacallit? Like South Park can literally make an entire episode in like 1 week. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, they made this after part one. Because when you start to see how the guys are treated in part two, at least for these first 2 episodes, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Because the first part of season 1, it really, really, really strive to make men look stupid in a week. Like, tons of them and everything. And make Tila, and then they also, they really stress. Because the one thing that really irritated fans is that when you watch part 1, it seems like Tila is going to become the new, like, She-Ra type character. Like, especially when she starts, like, holding the swords and everything. Like, in her journey she went through, you really feel like she's gonna become the new champion and everything. But then they turn things around for part 2, where she's actually gonna become what I believe is the new sorcerer and everything, or at least like some type of sorceress, but probably not the one that be in Grayskull because she had to stay there and stuff. But if that was true, why did they go on this weird, more heroic, like warrior type journey for her in season, well, not, I keep saying season, but like part 1. Like, it really contradicts her being like a sorceress and everything. So sometimes I think, like, yeah, I think either they made this after part 1 or they like, made some changes, some revisions, and just like inserted it in. Because so far, part two seems so much different than part one. So with her last bit of strength, she is able to teleport them all out of there. She almost got Duncan up arms, but Evil Lynn was able to grab him back. After they got transported, Skeletor takes the sword of power and he stabs her straight through the heart and everything. And so like eventually she does fade away and disappear, which Duncan is completely heartbroken. He's in tears, he's grieving, he's sobbing. Like, that's one cool thing about a lot of animation nowadays. They're more deep than live action. And it reminds me of kind of like how Young Justice changed like a lot, like the way you see animation. Like they really went deep in like emotions and like trauma and dread and stuff. And then so like Skeletor, he's pissed of course, and he wants to know where like there are, but he knows in order to do that, he's gonna need a new sorcerer for Castle Grayskull. So he's talked to like Evil Lynn and everything, and he tells her how like he used her to like stay alive because after he died, he went inside her scepter, and the reason why she was so drained and everything because he kept draining her energy. So she doesn't like being used, and of course he doesn't care. So unwillingly, he makes her the new sorceress, and he lets her know, hey, this is a permanent gig. You're trapped here in this little castle for like forever. And so he does something with these rings on the wall, and he tells her, you're gonna spend this time trying to figure out how like, gain the powers of like whatever, like the universe and Castle Grayskull, and I need you to find Adam and everything. And so like now with Adam in there, he is still dying. Like he still got stabbed after part one. He is bleeding. He hasn't died yet, but he is dying. And so as right before the sorceress died, she was able to like transport herself through like astral projection and meet with Teela and like hold her hands and then do something with her to where Teela somehow just puts her hand over Adam's wound and she heals him, but she doesn't know really how she did that, And then that's when the sorceress fade away. So now Adam's all alive and all that great stuff. But they're not out the woods yet. See, she transported them back to like the castle, and the castle for the most part has been deserted, but a few people are still left in the village. And so they meet with Fisto, and I think his name is Champ or something like that. And this is back in the whole part one, so they made these two into like the idiots again. This show just can't help itself, man. Like, stop making all the dudes stupid in this show. And so they're literally just a bunch of idiots. And, they're all like, who are you? And everything, blah, blah. And this castle's off limits to you. And so they don't really see Adam. And I don't know how they don't see Cringer because, he's like a green cat. Oh, by the way, Cringer did have a nice moment in this. Back before Adam and them got transported, he made Cringer like sick on all the bad guys, and he was beating them up for a while, but then the bad guys got the upper hand. But anyway, so they don't really see Cringer. But I don't know how. I mean, they had to have seen a green tiger. Not everybody has a green tiger in that land. So anyway, they see Teela and they don't recognize her for some reason because now Teela dresses differently and her hair is different. And hair does make people look different. So I can kind of give them that excuse, what I'm saying? But still, how do you not know who she is? Even with that new hairstyle, she still looks the same. And then, of course, they don't know Teela's friend. So they're like really pissy towards her. That's understandable because they don't recognize her. But then they do, Teela tells them, it's her. And they're like, oh, like it's you and everything. Well, Skeletor finds that behind. And it's not good. So Skeletor, he tells them straight up, he now holds dominion over not only life, but the dead. And he causes this purple mist to go everywhere. Whatever touch, like if the purple mist like touches people, they turn into like these monstrous like things with horns and stuff. So yeah. So Tila and her friend had to fight them off. Fisto and Clamp Champ have to like fight them off, and they see Adam, so they try to rescue Adam. But both men get scratched by like the purple mist. So they're fighting them off best as they can. And so Adam, he's unable to fight. I guess that he's still wounded from being healed and stuff and being stabbed. And so they managed to get inside the castle. I'm thinking to myself, well, we all know what's about to happen now, because they got scratched. Whoever watched a horror movie, a zombie movie, a vampire movie, a werewolf movie, man, you know what's coming next. So of course they transform. And so now they have to fight Tila and her friend. I cannot believe what just happened next. It's that Kevin Smith crap all over again from part one. Tila's friend has some type of like bomb thing. She throws it towards the two guys that got transformed, and Tila blasts it. Boom! Explosion. Both men are now dead. They said they didn't have a choice. Really? You didn't have a choice? You couldn't like knock them out? You couldn't like throw them out a window? You couldn't wait until they found like a cure or something like that? But not only do they have to fight them, they also have to fight the townspeople. So the majority of the townspeople in the village have now turned into monsters and stuff. And I'm just like, have they not learned their lesson yet? They freaking killed Fisto and Clamp Champ. I mean, seriously, man. It's like they're trying to do away with all of the original cast members from like the 80s and stuff. Granted, those two aren't like big name players or nothing like that. But people do recognize them from the toy line and stuff, you know? Because that's the thing about the 80s series. Fisto and Clamp Champ, they didn't have much to do in the cartoon series. In fact, I don't even know if they were ever even shown in the cartoon series. But they had the toy line. Now, of course, I've already talked about this on my other videos about the 2002 series. Fisto was very much present in the second half of the second season. Clamp Champ, still, nah. Nobody wants Clamp Champ for some reason. And so it's like, you know, if the 2002 series can actually give Fisto a backstory and all this other cool stuff, they could have done the same thing here. You know what I'm saying? And also, like with Tila's friend, we don't know nothing much about her. We just know that after Tila got pissy in the first part and left, she just started hanging out with that woman and stuff. But we don't know where she came from. We don't know why she partnered with her. We know they're friends and everything. But like, we don't know. If all we know, she could be like a double agent or something like that, you know? And they won't even go into detail about her. And so like, then Skeletor, he starts mouthing off again and blah, blah, like he always does. Like, he never shuts up. Villains never shut up. And then Adam tells him straight up, like, you know, this is the part from the trailer. The trailer gave away so much. He's all like, the sword's just the conduit, but the spark was always in me. And I've always wondered what would happen if I say the words without the sword. And then, so he says it, you know, for the power of Grayskull, and boom. Dude turns into like a version of the Hulk. He looks like He-Man, but a caveman, but very Hulk-like. Basically, okay, if you ever watched the 2002 series, which I even reviewed this character in the episode he's in, he looks like Adam's ancestor, known as King Grayskull. He looks just like him, but bigger and hulkier and stuff. So you know they took the design from that. He has like long hair. He's completely naked except for a loincloth. And he just acts like a caveman, but he acts like the Hulk. The dude is all rage, cannot even talk. Needless to say, dude went medieval on those monster things. And Skeletor, he just whooped them left and right. Skeletor could barely hold himself together when fighting this man. And so then, okay, what are we gonna call him? He ain't He-Man, he's not Adam. How about He-Hulk? He-Hulk takes an axe and he just starts slashing and gashing and killing and murdering tons of the monster village people. So Kevin Smith has now killed innocent village people. Somebody has got to stop this man. Seriously. And don't ever let him write another comic book. He made Batman pee. Like seriously, Batman pissed himself in year one when he crashed down on like the mob and everything. Anyways, so after all that, Skeletor is still trying his best to like kill He-Hulk and everything. So Tila somehow, she remembers the words that the sorceress used to transport them out of there. So she does that. Even though she's never used her new powers and everything, but somehow she just like, figured it out. So I'm guessing either she has a good memory and remembered, but she said she doesn't know how she did that and something just came over her and called out to her. So chances are she was probably in a trance. And so like while they're there they transport to a part of the land they've never been to before, so they're not really sure where they're at. Anyway, He-Hulk leaves, and then so they talk it out a little bit more, and as they're looking for him, they find him. Let's get into this part a little bit later. And so, like with Skeletor and Evil Lyn, now the new sorceress and everything, he is pissed. He goes to Lyn, and he is ready to kill her. He's all like, only He-Man can like summon the power from the sword, and that power comes from the sorceress, comes from Castle Grayskull. So he wants to know straight up, did she do it on purpose? And she has no idea what he's talking about. So he is more concerned about learning all the powers that he can and all this other stuff. This irritates Lyn. She doesn't like the fact that he used her. And the dude with the Beast Man with the whip, I forget his name. It might just be Beast Man, but she asked him straight up, why have you continued to like serve me? And no, she asked him why is he a follower, and he said that's just like who he is and everything. He follows whoever's in charge, and she tells him no, they have like a heart to heart. She tells him you have literally led armies of like some of the most ferocious like people and stuff, and you shouldn't just be following Skeletor and like willy-nilly type. And then she wants to know why he followed her, but it seemed like he was almost about to tell her he loves her, but he doesn't, because she mouths off to him in her evil little way. So anyway, Skeletor goes to Man of Arms, and he wants to know straight up, how was Adam able to turn into like He-Hulk and everything? And so, like, Duncan doesn't really know either, but they talk a little bit more, and Skeletor wants him to spill every last thing he got. So, back with He-Hulk. He's still on the loose, and as Cringer is, like, looking in the water, suddenly it turns red, and, like, he's licking blood. They realize He-Hulk, killed something. He killed some kind of, like, creature that looks like a centaur. Was it a Minotaur or something like that? I can't quite remember. I forgot what they call it, but it's like a centaur looking thing. And so now they know he's a little too dangerous, and the friends all like, might have to fight him. Dude, how is she and Tila gonna fight this dude? Skeletor could barely fight this dude. Ugh, I swear about them. Anyway, so they find him, and Tila's talking to him, and she's actually calming him down like the Hulk, until she mentions one person, the King, Adam's father. I think his name is King Randall or something like that. Let's just call him the King, because I can't remember his name exactly. In the moment she like mentions his name, dude turns into even more like the Hulk when he hears Bruce Banner's name. He goes crazy. Well, they literally find out where they're at, because they see a bunch of men-in-armed soldiers. They're at some other like castle area that the king goes to. Don't know where the queen's at, but for some reason Adam hates his father to death. Now, I don't remember much about the 80s series because I was just a kid back then. Um, but apparently, I don't remember. I don't even know if him and his dad ever had like an argument or anything. But he's pissed and he is angry at his dad. So he goes to the village with the men at arms at, knocks them around. He hits them so hard they have to be dead. Cause the dude's literally as strong as the Hulk and everything. And you gotta remember, He-Man all on his own can lift like a giant like boulder and everything, or like a giant building. So this dude's even stronger. And so like then the king comes out and he looks into like He-Hulk's eyes and all like, Adam, that's you. I can't believe it's you. So then he starts walking towards him. Just gives him this huge monologue about how he failed Adam as a father and how he is terrible. And seriously, like they always knock down men in this show for some reason. And he's talking about how terrible he is and how he was a terrible father. And then he's all like, he never knew he was He-Man and he wanted his son to be more, but his son was more. And then he tells him like, he loves him and he gives him a hug for, I guess he never told him he loved him or something like that. So he tells him he loves him and Adam de-transforms and he's back into his regular self. And he's just giving his father a hug, crying in his arms and stuff. And it's sentimental and all that, sure. But it's kind of like, really, his dad never cared for him? God, maybe I should rewatch the 80s series. Like, was any of that prevalent in the show? I'm not even sure. So back with Evil Lynn and them. This is the part I didn't tell you that when she was talking to that man. After the Beast dude leaves, she is looking into like this mirror and she sees Adam and stuff. Cause she can literally pinpoint wherever he's at. And so she asked the mirror, this is what's interesting. Because the Beast dude told her that she should lead instead of Skeletor. And so she's asking the mirror, she wants the mirror to recall every time He-Man has ever de-transformed, either willingly or unwillingly. She's looking to depower Skeletor. See, I bet you anything she does something, because remember when I said I didn't even know this came out until I looked at Looper, and I didn't watch the video, but on their thumbnail they had Evil Lynn there, and they say how it ended. So something happens with her as it ends, so that's going to be interesting. 3 more episodes to go. I hope it's good. I hope it doesn't suck. You know what I'm saying? Only time shall tell. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.